Still the greatest intro ever. For the thousands in attendance, the millions watching around the world, and to the many lives who forever changed 10 years ago when those tornadoes ravaged Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bama Standard. I'm your host, over-the-hill powerlifter and Bama grad Justin Riley. With me, as always, is the man, the legend, the all-SEC linebacker, Mr. Marvin Constant.
What's good?
What's good? And don't forget the man who runs things, not only on Touchdown Alabama Magazine, but the Paul Feinbaum Show, Mr. Stephen M. Smith. What's up, fellas? What's up?
What's going on?
Man.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
NFL draft week.
Clearly, somebody's excited.
Yes. We're gonna find out.
He's gonna need this inhaler in a minute.
Yeah,
we need to get some kind of defogger for them glasses, Marvin, because we might lose his vision halfway through the show.
With the draft on the horizon, you know this fella is on 100 right now.
Yeah, he's really 150.
Yeah, go on there, man.
But with a week this big, we have to have a show this big. And this week, we've got two legends who live up to that name and definitely were the Alabama standard when it came to playing in that secondary at Alabama and beyond. Marvin, if you would, please introduce these men.
All right. One of them who was just on the screen, I guess he has some technical difficulties, but I'm sure he'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, these two guests are part of the reason why I actually went to Alabama. When I say I watched these gentlemen play throughout my high school years, and I always said, man, I want to be a part of that defense that they help lead and they help build, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Mr. Kyrie Jackson, All-American himself.
What's going on, fellas?
Two-time All-American. Yeah, I wouldn't
even
one. I just got my one little plaque. I just got my one little plaque right there.
Hey. You there though? You there?
Hey, we got something, you know.
Hey.
And our other guest, I guess he's having some technical difficulties, but I'm pretty sure he'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. When I say Pittsburgh Steelers finest, the one and only Mr. Deshea Townsend, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Welcome back, Kevin, on our new platform, and welcome in, Deshea, for your first time, man. Glad to have you both here.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Hey, before we get started and jump into our first segment, Deshea, I'm glad you're here. Reason is, ever since we started the show, just about every week, Marvin has bragged on how Central Tuscaloosa was the greatest high school football program ever assembled. I need you to take a moment, just a moment, to educate him about South Panola University and what them boys would do to his squad.
No,
let's men talk.
I'm actually good friends with somebody from down there. So, Mr. Eddie Strong himself. So I know about, that area. So don't act like that, man. I'm just talking about your part of Mississippi that's terrible.
He's speechless.
Oh, your mic off, Mr. Townsend. Your mic is off.
After that huge intro, man.
Hey.
I was trying to cut the man mic. Golly.
Marvin, did you have something to do with that?
That was the state of Mississippi did that. That has nothing to do. Hey, he crossed the gun line. You know what I'm saying?
Can you hear me now? What about now?
Yeah. They say
Okay.
All
We got some.
Sorry about that sabotage, Deshea. Go ahead, Deshea.
Can you hear me now? Please say you can hear me.
Absolutely.
It's a little staticky. We hear you. It's a little staticky. Sound like you crossed that gun line at Camp 8.
Trying to get this thing built in right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now. Ain't no fences at Camp 8, boss. Come on.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
we
now?
got you. We got you, baby. We got you. Uh-oh.
Now he just went away. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
We got you,
Yeah.
baby.
We got you. You're live, too, again.
Oh, man. Well, back to what I was saying. The University of South Panola is one of the few schools in the country that's known by that with the winning streak of 89 games in a row. So Marvin, Central has some players. I played with Dennis, and you guys used to come watch you guys play a little Friday Night Lights, but you're gonna have a tough time with South Panola now. You know that.
I mean, Eddie used to say the same thing all the time. And I used to tell Eddie, man, I hear you talking. We'll hold our own against anybody we lined up against.
Yeah, I believe that. Holding on and winning is two different things.
Hey, you can hold on it and be drugged down the field.
No question. No question.
Or you can hold on like me and get your butt blindsided, but that's besides the point.
Justin, weren't you a long snapper, man? My God. And then you was a backup long snapper at that. So you can't even talk to me right now about holding on.
Hey, man. Hey, I was a wide receiver at Northwest Rankin. Come on now.
We're not gonna leave Northview and Dothan out either. So don't let
Oh
KJ
yeah,
think y'all can slide.
we pretty tough too.
Yeah, y'all would have got crushed too.
Hey,
Whoa,
who's gonna bring it on you,
Kevin?
Yes, sir.
You gonna let him talk about that your school like that, man?
Deshea was a quarterback, so we were gonna knock him out.
The thing that you had to worry about when I was at quarterback, you had about another 5 SEC players that you had to stop as well. So
we had a couple of them. We didn't have 5, but we had a couple.
See, we had way more than 5 SEC players on our roster, so that's why I say we would have brought that thunder to y'all.
Oh, here you go. There you go.
We had 5 that just went to Alabama alone.
That's because that was in your backyard. They had to pick you.
But we also sent them to LSU. We also sent them to Florida State. We also sent them other places, though. See.
No, I respect Central. Y'all play a little ball.
Yeah, that was good.
Y'all did a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
We'll take that.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into our favorite segment, and this is called Constance Chaos. Will Marvin gives his unfiltered view on anything surrounding Alabama or even the world. So get ready. He's about to tell you how he feels about whatever. So hang on to your hats. Go ahead.
It's funny we're talking NFL draft. Today, I want to talk about a former Alabama player, the one and only Mr. Julio Jones. The Falcons are saying they are taking offers on Julio. Why in the hell would you get rid of the best player on your team when you paying Matt Ryan all that money? That's who you need to put in the back of a minivan and send down there 85 somewhere. You get rid of Julio.
I'm gonna answer.
You just went 2-14. You finna go 0-16. You get rid of Julio because Matt Ryan ain't got a chance if you don't have Julio.
I'm gonna say this, Marvin, because I actually agree with you. So hear me out here. Atlanta was going to draft the quarterback, and they need to, but they also know if we draft the quarterback, how are we gonna pay the brother when we owe Matt Ryan $40.5 million this year, and then next year we're gonna owe him $25 more million. So we're taking a massive cap hit that we don't. I mean, I agree. They should draft the quarterback because Matt Ryan's a choke artist, and he's been a choke artist since he left Boston College.
So, Mr. Town, Shay just left. I just had a question for him. Ooh, I can't wait. Mr. Townsend, I have a question for you. So you're on the team with Matt Ryan. Oh, he left again.
All right. I'm right here. I'm listening. All
right. Being a Super Bowl champion, let's say you're on a team with Matt Ryan. You're up 28-3 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and y'all lose that game because he doesn't check to the hot read when he sees Dante Hightower blitzing. What is that conversation going to be like in the locker room?
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to deal with that, and I gotta take the politically correct road on this just in case we play the Falcons this year. That might come back to haunt me. So I'm gonna avoid that question right there and pass it along to KJ. KJ, you answer that. You was with the Cardinals.
You got too much going on.
I'm just saying they up 28-3, 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. You got the best kicker in football. You see Dante blitzing. All you got to do is hand the ball off away from the blitz, bring your kick out, you kick the field goal, you win the Super Bowl. But instead, you stay in
Man,
the
you had
pass
the
play,
Migos in there. You had the Migos at the game.
and you get sacked, and now you're out of field goal range, and you get a ball back to Tom Brady. You got to be no.
Look, you had the Migos, T.I., Jeezy, Ludacris, the Outkast. They were all at the game.
He'd have been better off taking a knee than taking that sack.
Man, my grandma was at that game. No, not for real.
Man, y'all watching on bootleg cable. Don't even lie.
He down at Mississippi. He just watched the replay last week.
See, there you go.
Just not up to speed on what we talking about.
You do. Wait a second. Hold on a second. You do realize you got 3 Mississippi guys on here right now. 3.
What that? I guess that means we could change the light bulb now, huh?
I will say though, it might have been some Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl champion T-shirts rolling around in Mississippi though. I will say.
Oh, that's the third world country they sent them to. We ain't gonna send them overseas. We just gonna send them to Mississippi.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Dang, man.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, don't shoot the messenger.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
But
we all
Marvin,
we all know the best athletes in this.
Yeah, that is messed up though, Marvin. How they are taking calls to trade Julio though.
Yeah, they are, man. I mean, they get rid of Julio. I don't see the pluses in that, especially when you're carrying Matt Ryan, who's proven he can't win the big game for you. He has proven it. So why do you carry him with that high price tag? I mean, I get it. I would just trade him. I would draft the quarterback and just trade him after the draft so it would lessen my cap hit. But I would definitely draft the quarterback and spend Matt Packard.
Okay. So, Marvin, why are you not on the road to Cleveland in Roger Goodell's ear right now?
Because I don't want to coach. Nick made me hate the coaching profession. He made me
Marvin, Marvin, you don't have to coach. Just be a consultant. Just like, hey, bro, cut him, draft him, and leave the room.
I mean, with the offensive weapons that he has, though, that the Falcons have, I mean, you could draft a quarterback that's young, develop him, and in a year or two, you'll be able to compete. I mean, even with Julio on the back end of his career, as he moves into his 12th year, you still got Calvin Ridley and a bunch of young receivers. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely draft the quarterback. And on June 2nd, Matt Ryan will be traded.
Well, you're a rough GM, man.
Yeah. I don't want to play for you, boy.
Hey, man, it's business.
Yeah, you heard the half of it, man.
Man, listen, here's the thing about it. You play to win championships. They've been a franchise for over 50 years. They own 0 Lombardi trophies. The one time you were close, he blew it for you. You gotta go. Sorry. Him and Pete Golden need to go on the same team somewhere.
Why you not bring Pete in here, man?
Hey,
we're adding more ammo.
Mr. Man, I had to clean up. I had a person had a busted lip. I was like, it was crazy, but I'm here now. What's good, fellas?
Ladies and gentlemen,
what's happening, my brothers? How y'all doing?
Andre Short.
Yes, sir. What's good?
LaGrange specialist.
Roll Ties in the building.
Hey, man, we in here. We done came a long way, goddamn. A long way.
Now we can get this party started.
Y'all got to beat because he just cursed right now.
Yeah. Oh, this is an adult show. It'll be okay. He's
What'd you say, Shay? What'd you say?
I said, I hope they got that little thing that beep. That beep beep.
Oh yeah. I might let one fly. Somebody slip out now. Yeah.
Listen, hey, we start talking about Alabama defensive coordinator. I'm gonna let him fly too, so don't worry about that. We good on that. Hey, Pete Golden regularly gets profanity out of me.
Man, leave Pete alone, bro.
Man, Pete Golden.
Let that man go, man. Let that brother live one time, man.
Now, Marvin, why are you gonna bring somebody on here who can outflex you, man?
Hey man, because we showing love to these brothers, man. We showing love to them. Now, if anything, Justin, you probably should ask him for a workout because I see, you got a little truck driver body over there, but we ain't gonna get into that. That ain't why we here.
Hey, they can drive some miles, baby. They can drive some miles.
Like that, truck
hey, he built like a long haul truck driver, but he want to talk. Man, come on, man. Hey, let's get to why we are here, baby.
Yeah, let's get to why we're here. Okay, Marvin, I hear you, brother. All right, let's go ahead and jump in, fellas. I'm ready to do this. Since we're all here, let's talk about your group of DBs. What was it like when y'all first met each other, and how did you guys become such a dominant unit?
Hey, I got a funny story.
Oh, man.
All right. When I first got to Bama, we all went up to the rec center, and it was about 5 of us: me, Deshea, Short, Dennis Riddle, Dwayne Rudd. Everybody was up there, so everybody got the team, and so we had 2 guys that was picking teams, and none of them picked me, not one. And I was so pissed off because I was a new guy. Nobody seen me play basketball. And I go up there with those guys. Now, it's 5 of us in the car. None of them don't pick me. Not one. And so we played him, and I tried to kill him that day, man. I tried to murder him. So the next time we went up there, I was one of the first ones that was picked.
I remember that. You had to earn because back then you had to earn your right to be a lottery pick. So
you're right.
But hold on, but y'all rode in the same. Y'all rode in the same car though, and y'all didn't pick him.
Didn't pick me. And then last man, after they didn't pick me, I had to sit down for a whole game.
Okay. Wow. Okay. What was the make and model of the car?
A Nissan Maxima.
Nissan Maxima was
Nissan Maxima. Hey, no, back in the day, back in the day now, the guys of color, we pulled up in buckets. Now, we ain't had no good cars. I had a Toyota Tercel with some woofers in and some tweeters in there.
I had that
ESP. It was 5
I had an ESP Ford with some fat tires on it, the bow-legged tires.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You gonna hear me?
We just wanted to get there.
On, let's go.
Right.
Let's go. I'm playing that booty music. Let's go now.
I bet you and Samara used to.
Yeah, we just wanted to get there. Oh, for sure. Hey, that boy, he was a dancer. He was a dancer.
I was a dancer now. Hey, y'all know we needed some money to go somewhere. We could. I gonna go get the money now, so we can go. Take our trips to Atlanta and everything. Now we need gas money. Y'all like, go get it, Dre. We need some money now. Let's go get it.
Doing in your free time, Dre.
So what you're saying, Mr. Short, is you were the first person on Backpage.
I can't claim that thing right there, bro.
You got employee stock in Backpage, Dre.
I gotta put that on Eddie Hunter. Eddie Hunter was showing up to the dorms, to the sorority dorms, with a baby oil. Now you know what was going on. Let me do a little something strange for a little bit of change now.
That's funny because Marvin used that same baby oil for his book cover he published.
Justin and Justin, baby. Justin and
Justin. That's strike one, Justin.
Justin.
Your little trucker body comment was strike one. So we strike now.
They got the low blow going on.
All right, but we got to get into why we here, fellas. So, Justin, let's get to what we got to get to.
I tried to, man. You veered off with baby oil.
Well, I got questions for y'all. The Outback Bowl against Michigan. Man, what was that experience like for y'all? Because wasn't that Coach Stalin's last game? Yeah. So what was that experience like knowing that y'all played in Gene Stalin's last game as a head coach? I know that had to be a powerful moment? Because we've heard, I've interviewed Jeremiah Castile before, and he talked about coach playing in Bear Bryant's last game and how emotional that was for him and that whole experience. So what was it like for y'all playing in Gene Stallings' last game?
Don't all y'all answer at once, huh? That's what we want to say next, right? For me, it was bittersweet. For me, he came into my living room and promised to treat to be a father figure. He did everything. He did all that. You know what I mean? And so, you can't really ask a lot from a man just to be, to just hold down his word. And he did it the whole time he was there. You know what I mean? And what was so sad about it, we didn't realize what we had until he left. Didn't realize we thought it was old school. He was serene. But when he left, we really saw that we lost a real professional, a real caring coach who cared about the players genuinely. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was the changing of the guard. So, we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah,
well, that's very emotional to me. You got it, Shay.
Yeah, I was just saying that's one of those. That's one of those things that was awesome, to get a chance to be a part of history, especially with a legendary coach like Coach Stallings. And, you just think about, in our side of town where I was from when he was recruiting me, when you think about how it was, we kind of stayed on one side of the tracks. Some other people stayed on the other side of the tracks. But when they heard that he was coming to town, I had more people in my little neighborhood than I'd ever seen before. So you saw the type of impact that he had and the type of coach that he was. And to be a part of playing for him and having him come to your living room and teach you is something that you'll never forget.
Yeah, it was very emotional with me because I was real close with him. And just like you said, a father figure, a guy that stand by his word, a guy that was always there for you if you needed to talk to. This guy waited for me for a year and a half. I hurt my knee in high school and had surgery and woke up on the side of the bed, and he was right there and told me that if I never play another down again, he want me at the University of Alabama. And at that time, before I got hurt, I had 14 offers. When I got hurt, I had one offer, and that was the one from Alabama. And that my mama made me go. My mom said, "You going there, son? There ain't nowhere else," because he was there for me. And ever since then, I talked to him on a monthly basis because where I work at, I work with Jimmy Raines, so he's over the board on Jimmy Raines. So he comes in and speak to us, our faculty and our staff, and I talk to him all the time. And he's a great guy. Like he said, like Short said, man, we didn't know what we had at the time, and now he's just a legendary guy that I'll do anything for, and try to call him at least once a month just to say hey, to see how he's doing. And he's just a blessing to me and my family.
Great response, KJ. But you made me want to go get a Colt 45, man. We borrow that voice for a minute, man.
Okay,
Colt 45.
You know what? I gotta ask this though. I gotta ask this though. Like, what made Coach Stallings like the OG that he was? Because just hearing those responses, it was like he really held that thing down, and you don't have too many coaches like that. So, like, what kind of made him that type of an OG coach?
He, to me, man, he treated us like men, And one thing he tell us before we go out or before we go in to a bowl game or before we go into a game somewhere, a visitor team to go play them, he always said, don't embarrass the university. He always tell us that. That's his main word. Don't embarrass the university. I'm going to treat you guys like men. And he always did. And he always had up respect for us. And he always listened to us. That was most important. He always listened to his players.
Yeah, it was definitely the way he carried himself as a man. Because getting there, me coming from Georgia, I did no research on him. I didn't know who he was. But once I got there, he definitely earned my respect. Not by, and it wasn't by, you got coaches that try to earn your respect by by dogging you or trying to push you a little, push you harder. He managed the whole situation from a respectful position to the point where he had hands in everything. And then we saw that the respect that the coaches gave him, the coaching staff, and people that had been around, and it all, we all fell in line. And I mean, we all got the story of when we sitting there chattering up in the meeting room, and then Gene Stoller would come in and he would sit down, and we still chattering up. And it's time that clock hit 4 o'clock. As soon as he stand up, you could hear a pin drop. That was respect. He didn't have to talk over us and say, "Be quiet. I'm standing up. I'm talking now." When he stood up, we knew that it was time to pipe it down and pay attention. So, I mean, he just had that. He just had that je ne sais quoi, so to speak, about himself.
Mr. Townsend, your mic off again?
Your mic out, Shay. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
He about to cry, man.
Yeah, got you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
I think along the same lines, though, it's just that, man, the way that he demanded respect, but he also, even though he kind of showed you what to do, you learn from the older guys, and they kind of told you what to expect from him. But I think it's just the way that he demanded the respect, but he also gave it. I think that's a big thing that I took from him, that just that respect he gave you as well as what he demanded from you.
I do want to jump back to your Alabama careers, but piggybacking off of that, Deshea, you had an opportunity to play for two of my favorite coaches, both Coach Stallings and Bill Cowher. What was your relationship like with both those guys? Well, Bill Cowher, and how did their coaching styles differ, or how did they resemble each other?
Yeah, I think I was very, very fortunate with the coaches that I had. I think the biggest thing was just the culture that they created amongst their teams. That was the thing that was similar, how it was still a brotherhood and a family at both places that you went to. And their coaching styles was right to the point. One thing about both of them, if they told you something in freaking training camp, that would be the same thing that they would say during bowl week or for us, Super Bowl. And that's the thing that you like about those coaches is, they stuck by what they believed in. And I think also the culture that they gave their players made them very similar.
That's what's up. Hey, I want to go back to that 1995 Georgia game where literally the three of you guys destroyed Georgia 31-0. And I mean you guys, because that's pretty much all the highlights were. Can you guys talk about that game and how y'all were able to just put it on such a clinic defensively? We'll start with you.
Who you starting with?
You.
Oh,
Billy D.
I mean, KJ, you gonna start with you?
Okay.
Yeah, KJ, go ahead.
Well, it was a great week of practice. Like you said, it was a crazy game for me. In the locker room, I was sitting by Jeremy Pruitt, and Jeremy Pruitt said, "Kevin, I think you're gonna have a great game tonight. I think you're gonna have like 2 or 3 interceptions." And I was like, "Man, come on." I said, "I just need to just play, and because I was going up and down on the roster, being on the starter, and to get out there and didn't have any kind of Coach Oliver didn't believe in me as much. So every time I messed up, he always pulled me out the game, and so I was, being a little bit upset on that. And the first play of the game, they ran a play and I messed up on. And we stopped them, and I came to the sideline, put on the helmet, put on the microphone and talked to him. And he said, "Hey, go back out there, calm down, go back out there." And when he said that, I knew then that he believed in me. Went out there, the next series, got an interception, had about 4 or 5 tackles during that series. Great game, the best game of my life, probably at the University of Alabama. I kind of went into a zone, and like I said, I had 14 tackles, 3 interceptions, and a touchdown that game. And I still didn't make the player of the game. Guess who made the player of the game? Deshea Townsend made the player of the game. We broke the kick, and he ran the ball. He ran the kick back for like 75 yards for a touchdown. And we had a great game. We played great as a defensive whole. and we had a good time that day.
That's what's up, Andre. What were your thoughts on that?
For me, it was emotional as well because me and KJ playing the same position. Him and I was always going back and forth, and Oliver did a good. He played us against each other, and then KJ know when I always tried to help, but he played us against each other in a situation. I don't know if he was trying to draw out the competition. That's fine, whatever it was, but and so for me, I had started the game before that. And I didn't think I had a pretty good game before that, but then we came to Georgia. I wasn't going to start that game, so we was going to my home state playing Georgia, who I passed up on to come to Belmont. So for me, I was glad we won, but I was pissed off because I didn't play as much as I wanted to. Now, of course, I still played, played different packages. But I'm a competitor just like everybody on the board. You know what I mean? We all want to be stars. We all had aspirations of making big plays and making it to the league. That's why we was there. And so, so for me, it was a really emotional thing. Me going home, and then not starting, not playing as much as I wanted to. But I've always been a team person though, so I was definitely glad to get away with the win.
I can definitely understand that because didn't you have like 3 or 4 interceptions going into that game, and you're pretty much red hot.
Yeah. I mean, it's all behind us now. But yeah, I did have I think I had two interceptions at the time.
And it was crazy on my end because of the first game we played against Vanderbilt, and I started the Vanderbilt game, and the running back, me and Dwayne hit the running back, and he bounced off both of us and went, I think, 75 yards for a touchdown that game. So I got benched that game. Short came in and played that whole game. So the Arkansas game, it was a big rivalry for me because a high school guy, Tracy Cantaloupe, played with Arkansas, and he played on my high school team. So he was starting cornerback for Arkansas. And I played 3 snaps that game. And at that time, I'm in the back of my mind thinking, hey, man, and then Short come in, he get an interception for the Arkansas game. And then we go and play Southern Miss. And it's a big article of me and our tight end from the high school. He's starting at Southern Miss at USM. So I get in 2 times, and I think Short get another interception that game. And I'm like, I'm gone. I said, I'm finna transfer. I'm finna get out of there. I don't have any hope. My coach he ain't standing by me. It was just like Short said, we were going between each other. And I guess he was just trying to find out which guy he could count on or whatever. I have no idea. But at that whole time, me and Short stayed really good friends. He helped me out a lot because he was there way before me. And I was coming from junior college and never played the position in my life. I always played outside linebacker. So it was a big transition for me going from safety to outside line. I mean, from outside linebacker to safety. And he put a lot of pressure. He put a whole lot of pressure on me, especially in practice. He had everybody to be quiet and had me to, not knowing the checks and had me to know checks. And I had to figure it out, man, my way. But at the same time, it was a good experience for, me as a player. And it was a good experience for me and Short as a friendship because we stayed friends and we still friends to this day.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. Deshea, can you talk a little bit about that game? And also, too, I got a question with that. Did you and Hines Ward talk about that game when you were in Pittsburgh together? Because, y'all kind of did that to him, too.
Your microphone, bro. Come on, man. Microphone point.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
All right.
Marv, can you hear me now? Marvin told me I couldn't use my phone. So I had to try to tap into these computers and shit.
We hear you now, baby. We hear you.
Hines know we punished him 2 times, but he always talk about the freshman year when he had like 100-something yards rushing. And we always joke about how we stopped his quarterback career because I think after that game, it was a wrap for him at quarterback. But we always joke about that type of stuff.
That's what's up. So, guys, as mentioned earlier, the NFL draft is 2 days away.
Well, hold on, but before we get to that, though, I got a question for you, Mr. Townsend.
Yo.
You got to play with the man with the best hair ever in the NFL.
T-Pizzle.
What was that like?
I'm going to go with Short Dog. Short Dog got the best hair.
Boy, hold on.
Man, Short got that good grade, man.
I'm just saying, was Pongamago doing Head and Shoulders or Selsun Blue? Like, what was he doing?
But I just want to know.
He was getting that check.
I just want to know what was that locker room like? What was that on the field like? Because the talent level that y'all had back there, you don't see that often for the players that y'all had back there in that secondary. And you got the Super Bowl rings to prove.
I told you I was spoiled. I was most definitely spoiled because I left Alabama and we had a bunch of great players, and then I go to Pittsburgh and it was the same thing. So I just think the biggest part that I always say that even in coaching now that separated us was how close we were. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the best part about any secondary. You can have a bunch of talented players. If they're not close, they're not going to be good.
Okay. Now, but before we move on, do any of y'all want to talk about the time Eric Curry and them locked the doors to the locker room and we'll let the players go to practice?
Please do. I want to hear this.
Talk about what now?
The time Eric Curry locked them doors to practice and wouldn't let the players go to practice.
I wasn't there.
Don't nobody want to talk about that in '97, huh? Nobody want to touch that one. Okay.
Well, it's funny. As soon as you asked that, Deshea's volume went off again.
Wasn't having that right there. No.
Understandable.
You know, some things you gotta keep in the team. You gotta keep it locked in.
First off, Coach Stallings wasn't having that. What you gonna say to him if you talking about locking the door and you ain't gonna practice?
Hey man.
But that was under Dubose in '97.
Yeah.
we was almost out of there.
97?
Yeah.
We was out of there, Shane.
I was gone.
We was out of there. That was our last year.
That was y'all last year, but y'all was still around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't, you know what it was though, bro. It's like
I don't remember those.
Let me just elaborate on the reason why is because Eric Curley was a defensive line, and I don't know if y'all know the story, but when Gene Stallings stepped down, when he stepped down, we as a unit, as seniors, went to bat for him. We went and told the athletic director who we wanted to be our head coach. We want him to be our coach. We went to bat for him. Dubose. We went to bat for him. You know, as a squad, as opposed to coming in, bring somebody in brand new. And at the time, from the defensive standpoint, he was our energy over there. He stayed on our asses. He stayed on the defensive line asses. He motivated us. Somewhere along the line, when it's a difference. You can see the clear difference when he got in that position of power. It was a whole different person. It was a Jekyll and Hyde situation. You know what I mean? So we
y'all kind of did the Larry Coker thing in Miami.
What's that now?
So y'all did the Larry Coker thing in Miami.
We just we weren't on the same page. We as seniors want to have a good year, and we see a lot of changes going on, and we going through 3 days. Our senior year, we got curfew our senior year, so we was like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? And so he tried to force upon us to respect him instead of earning it. He had already earned our respect from just being the defensive line coach and how he motivated us, but then. Right. When he got to the head coaching job, it was so many different changes. I just kind of feel like personally that he hated the way Gene Stallings did things so much. He wanted to change everything, and that wasn't the thing to do.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was I don't know. That was so long ago. That was a long time ago. But I was a Bill Oliver fan. I know Dre and KJ would, he kind of put y'all through the ringer a little bit. But I thought he was going to be the next one. And I was kind of surprised.
Man, you turn your mic off again, Mr. Townsend?
He's on AOL dial-up, y'all. He's on AOL dial-up.
Man.
Oh,
we got you now.
We got you.
Yeah, I was just saying that I was surprised. I was, when Dubose got it, he was a player's coach, though. All the D-line loved him from the 92 defense to then. And I just think some of the other stuff kind of hurt, too. But the 3 days was real. I don't remember us sitting out, Dre, but you might. I'm sure I was sitting in there with y'all that we didn't go out.
Nah, we went. It ain't not going out. You take your ass out there, or you going home. So no, that was an unsuccessful attempt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think we talking about EK was trying to. I mean, he was trying to corral everybody up to get on. We were like, boy, stop playing. We trying to get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So
and wasn't that time when EK asked him why he wasn't playing, and he pulled up his shirt and showed him his belly and said, "That's why."
Yeah.
What?
This why you ain't playing like
Yeah, he told me he was fat. That's why you ain't playing.
But that coaching staff, I would say they were great at verbally abusing players. For me coming out of high school, them 3 days were brutal. But the first time I heard one of them tell a kid his mama should have swallowed, and then I heard another one tell a kid he should have been a stain on the sheet. I'm like, man, y'all are ruthless around here.
That's terrible.
Yeah, times have changed now. You gotta be careful nowadays.
Oh, yeah, and obviously that's not the way to gain respect though from nobody. You know what I mean? Like,
but Sean, Oliver did us like that too. Oliver did us like that too.
I wanted to Oliver. I swear I did. Sam Shade talked me down off of putting my hands on Oliver. I swear.
Hey, you remember
them boys mad.
Sam Shade said, Dre Shaw, if you put your hands on Bill Oliver, you'll never sit down this motherfucker. I was like, what? I didn't like the way he was trying to talk to us, bro. I didn't like that.
Hey, I don't want to talk B4 from choking him one day.
I ain't like it. Hey, man. I was no disrespect, tolerated no time. Not even from you, Bill Oliver. Hell, you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that shit.
Hey, Marvin, I stopped B4 from choking him 1 week, and then B4 stopped me from choking him the next week.
That's family right there.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Listen, when I tell you, when they got rid of him, they brought in Ellis Johnson, right? I heard Ellis in practice one day. Salim Rashid. Salim's Muslim, right? Whenever he would be mad at Salim, God damn it, Mohammed. I'm like, damn, you just gonna call that man Muhammad?
Terrible, man. Terrible.
Right. I was like, yeah. Some of that stuff, if they tried it now, they would be on their way out the door very quickly.
Exactly, bro. It's crazy. We took some verbal abuse back in the day.
Man.
Yeah.
Oliver asked me, no wonder I went to junior college when I messed up. No wonder you went to junior college.
I'm still gonna hold down one of the biggest quotes we heard from a coach. And I know Deshea remember this. One of the biggest statements we heard from a coach, bro, was from Gene Stout. We was in the SEC championship playing Florida Gators. Dwayne Rudd came on the sideline mad because he missed a tackle and threw his helmet in it. Gene grabbed him and trying to get him to listen to it. He grabbed Rudd, was trying to get him. He was talking to him. Rudd kept snatching away. He grabbed Rudd. He said, "Son, I forgot more than you will ever know." I was like, "What? I forgot more than you will ever know." Jeez. That was classic. That was classic right there, man.
Yeah.
I forgot more than you will ever know. I'm telling you now. That's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah,
that's
good
awesome,
times, man. Good times.
Absolutely. Well, let's turn our focus to the NFL draft. It's only 2 days away. For you guys, what was this process like leading up to this point?
Shit, I didn't have one. I didn't have a process. You know what I mean? I was trying to recover from that. I had a shoulder injury my last year, and I had to have a reconstructive surgery. You know what I mean? So all that was definitely out the door. Not saying I was big enough or fast. Well, I was more like, I'm thinking it's me assessing myself as my skill set. Yeah, but I'm progressing enough to play linebacker, but undersized, not fast enough to play defensive back in the NFL. I need to be in the box, somewhat close to the line of scrimmage, and I could have gave you 100 tackles a year easy. You know what I mean? But just me, assessing everything, your weaknesses. So I had surgery my last year, and I had to have reconstructive surgery to attach the ligaments. Played in games I shouldn't have played in, trying to help the team out, trying to be a team player, and they just kept throwing back up in there, and I didn't have the awareness. Like, hold up, hey, no, I'm not gonna let y'all just do me like this. But that's a whole nother story.
It was a perfect week. I mean, leading up to that draft thing, working out, doing the combines, going living somewhere else, working out with different people, trying to get your 40 time down, trying to get you 200 your weight, 225 pounds, how many times you could do that. Just trying to stay in shape and impress the coaches. It was very stressful, it was very stressful. It was very excited too at times. And, a lot of things going in your head, a lot of people talking, you're getting frustrated, you're getting happy. And just a roller coaster, man. And especially my roller coaster. And, just to have people coming back to you after what I did, I tell a lot of people, a lot of people don't know I didn't play like in the first 3 games, really. In the first 3 games, I played 6 snaps in all, and still led the SEC in interception for 2 years straight. That year was All-American, but I didn't play in 3 games. And then you have people doubting you because you got hurt in high school, you mess up your knee, and then you start go down a little further because they see the 3 screws in your knee and all. Now you don't know where you're going. So it's kind of frustrated, and it's very exciting, especially when you know you're going, and then all of a sudden you get to that day and your name don't get called, but and then Arizona call you the next day, and you go out there and try out for them, and it's a up and down situation, and then that's when the business come in at the business aspect, and I know those guys going through probably not the first 10 picks of the draft guys, because they automatically know where they're going, but some of them don't. But it's just man, like you said, a roller coaster. Martin can understand that because he's been in that situation, and it's mind-boggling. And at the same time, especially you don't know where you're going, and you just hear different things about yourself that people try to tell you how you could play, how fast you are, and when you know you can play the game of football because you've been playing it all your life.
I do want to ask you a question, sticking with you. You mentioned that injury, that horrific injury that had a lot of people doubting you, especially when it came to your recruiting, but you overcame it. My question is, what advice would you give Dylan Moses, who teams, may be doubting because of his injury history?
Man, that was the worst situation I ever been in my life. I'm glad it happened to me because I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about people, and I learned a lot about college football at the time too, man. And you really see when you're on top, man, you got everybody on your side. And when things go bad for you and everybody leaves you, ain't nobody there but you and your family, and a couple of friends here and there. And I learned a lot, man. I learned that, man, you had to put God first. I learned that, and I learned that you got to go in there and work hard and prove people wrong, and just put stuff on the board and just meditate on that, man. And I did that. I worked out hard. I cried every day. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I cried every day at rehab, and but I knew what I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to go to Alabama. I knew I wanted to play on TV. I knew I wanted to be one of those guys that Eric Curry, Antonio Langham, Sam Shade. I knew I wanted to be those guys. That's who I looked up to when I wanted to go to Alabama, and I wasn't gonna stop. And people gonna say what they want to say about you. You ain't never gonna change that regardless. You got some guys that be on your side. You got some guys that are not gonna be on your side. But at the same time, you know what you could do. You know how you could do it. Just go back to the basic, man. Go back to the basic. Do what you do when you was little. Have fun and take everything else not for granted.
Tell you what, man, I still cry some days. Ain't no way in hell I'm ever gonna say I'm glad that happened to me. Because when it happened to me, boy, that was rough.
Hey Marvin, it was a rough situation with me when I got hurt. And man, that was the most. I mean, I think my whole life changed because, like I said, I thought I was a shit at the time. My bad. I thought I was it at the time. And like I said, I had 14 different schools that was on me. And when it come down to it, and now you ain't got but one. And then I went to junior college and showed out. And then those teams that I had never heard from that game, that night when we played Viger, when I got hurt against Viger, I never heard from that team. No team, no more. Went to junior college and made first team All-American and getting ready to sign. All those teams come back. And I told them, my junior college coach was a big Florida State guy. Mick Andrews called him and said, I'm coming down there to see Kevin Jackson. And so my coach called me in the office and said, hey, Mick Andrews coming down here to see you from Florida State. I said, no, he's not. He said, what? I said, no, he's not. He said, why? I said, man, I haven't heard from that guy since Friday night. And I said today, November the 22nd in Ripview Stadium. I haven't seen that guy, heard from that guy since then. I said, so he's driving 6 hours down here for nothing. He said, but he's coming. He said, he's coming. I said, okay. So I'm in the game room playing ping pong. And he sent one of the players over there to me and said, hey, coach want to see you. And I said, okay. So I go over there. He said, Mick Andrews in there. I went right back over to the game room and played and said he drove all the way down for nothing because I'm not talking to him. And it was crazy, but that's how I felt. You know, you left me high and dry, and you know, ain't no sense of me talking. It wasn't but one school there was there for me, and that's where I was going.
But you know, the one thing I always tell people is you will never understand what that feels like.
Yeah.
To be in that situation. And I always tell people, for me, it's like I'm 1 year away from being a first round draft pick. And I get hurt on the last play of a game. And I always tell people, when those lights turn out, that's when you really find out a lot about yourself and know who call themselves your friends. Because when the lights turn out, all the people who this and that, when the lights turn out, a lot of them, majority of them, you ain't gonna see. They gone. Because see, they only gonna see them when they feel like you have value to them. But when the lights turn out, the ones who really love you and they really care about you, they'll be there for you, man. A lot of people will never understand that, man. So I understand wholeheartedly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it ain't about 3 or 4 of them too.
Exactly.
Right. All right, guys, before we move on to Steven's segment, which is our next segment, if you would tell us what your best moment or favorite moment from your career at Alabama was. Andre, go ahead. We'll start with you.
I don't know. I really can't say. And we talk about
on the field, dancing at the CC. On the field. Yeah, we got to tell him.
I want to hear about the CC. Come on now. We're a safe place, right?
Well, I mean, like I say, for me, I suppose it has to be like the game that KJ was talking about, because I had been, at the Vanderbilt game. It was a whole situation. He started the game, and I get in the game, and it's just like he did. I had a really good game. I think I had like 8, 9 tackles, 2 picks that game, and it was just a defining moment. Okay, yeah, you can play at this level. You can do your thing. You know what I'm saying, and be and succeed at it. And it's just that was probably a high moment. But for the biggest reason, my mom was in the stands. That was the biggest reason that it was a high. It was a high for me. It was like I was able to have a good game in front of my mom. You know what I mean? And everybody met my mom down there. They knew my mom. She would come down there and cook for everybody and everything. And so, but it was a really defining moment for me at that time. Like, okay, well, hey, you did, you had a good game, and it didn't start out that way because KJ told me he started the game. I think Coach Bill Oliver told me, he said, okay, KJ going. He didn't tell us who was starting until after we warmed up. Unless KJ knew something that I didn't know. He told the battle in the summer camp went all the way until he didn't tell us until we warmed up, came out the field warming up. He did tell me, I'm gonna let y'all know who's gonna start after warm up. So when he said KJ was starting, so I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, did I want more bad or something? You know what I mean? So it's and so I get in the game and I have a pretty good game. It was a highlight for me right there because I did something to help the team win. I built confidence and felt like I can play at this level and excel at it. So that would be my moment right there, I think.
KJ, what about you, man?
The good moment, man, just getting there, man. My greatest moment was meeting those guys, meeting my teammates, being around those guys every single day and just laughing and getting to know those guys, going home with those guys, building a great relationship with those guys, and playing on Saturday with those guys. That was the most fun I ever had in my life. And man, just being Alabama, just being on the team, I would have been happy too. But at the same time, like Short was saying, it was my greatest time was the Georgia game, and that was my mom was at that game, and my uncles and my aunts and all were at that game. But the thing about it was I was down because we didn't know who was gonna play, and at the same time, I prepared for the Georgia game and went out there, and like I said, some reason I usually mess up, and he usually get me on the sideline and put Shorty in, and then
we doing both of us like that. He was yo-yo on both of us, bro.
Yeah, hey Marvin, it was bad, man. It was to the point that and the good thing about it was that me and Short they didn't even bother us friendship wise,
right?
At all. When we step off that field, me and him were going to get something to eat, or all us were going to him, me, Dwayne, or Deshea, Michael Fagan, or we'll go to Atlanta, or we'll go. I even went home with Short a couple of times, and so that he couldn't distort us from our friendship. It was just on the field that he got to us,
above all, we still my mindset. We still had to win. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if I could help KJ out, I was gonna do it 10 times over. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna do it all over again. You know what I mean? Because we still had to win at the end of the day, and I wasn't gonna really hold no information, on some hating, jealous type stuff. That ain't how I was built. You know what I mean? And so I was there to help with whatever I needed to help with. Because the guys helped me coming up through the way. And I just had to give it back like I got it, you know what I mean? And let the chips fall where they may, you know what I mean? It's sharpened both of us, you know what I'm saying? It sharpened him, it sharpened me. And so, and we took those paths. And so, at this time, I don't have any regrets, man. I mean, I'm where I am because of everything we went through there. I got my family and my wife and my kids. And, hey, bro, I'm just blessed and highly favored.
Well, I will say this, though, Andre, Mr. Short. That was very big of you to be accepting of KJ and sharing that knowledge with him, because I was in a situation similar to that. I had a guy ahead of me who was an All-American, and our lockers were beside each other, but he wasn't trying to tell me nothing. Like he didn't really want nothing to do with me. I mean, he wouldn't share nothing with me in the meeting rooms. Like literally, it was like he took it as me versus him. And then that next year he transferred to Florida because he seen the writing on the wall. But I'm like, man, it didn't have to be that way though. It's nothing you take personal. It's a team sport. Sometimes, you got to be open to that relationship because you never know what's going to happen in that situation, So, that's very big of you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we got to win, you know what I mean? And it wasn't KJ's fault. I peeped out Bill Oliver's personality, and like I said, it made me go harder. You know what I mean? Like to the point where he told us who was starting after the warm up of the first game. Like, come on, if we had competition, now how far can you push it farther than that? You know what I mean? So it wasn't a knock on me. It wasn't a knock on him. It was just like he played us against each other to get the best product on the field at the time. So I look at it now. Was I pissed off then? Yeah. Was he pissed off then? Yeah, he was. But he did that. He did that to try to create healthy competition.
Exactly. You know, the guy in my situation, I wish he had stayed because he'd end up moving to weak side linebacker, and it would have made the team better overall defensively. You know, it would have benefited us all if he would have stayed, but he didn't want that competition, so he, you know, booked it back to Florida, which I wish he had stayed.
He think about that NFL, bro. He think about that league just like everybody else. He think if you can't get to the league on the bench, Marvin, you can't get to the league on the bench, bro. You can't get no stats put up, bro. Come on now. That's why he hightailed it.
But he was gonna move. They were gonna move from the weak side linebacker though. So what's the difference?
He like the weak side. He wanted the strong side. You should have went to the weak side. Then what's wrong? What's the difference? Why you didn't go over there?
Because I was the killer.
You know what I'm saying?
I was the killer that you could put in the middle when you ain't got to worry about. See?
Did y'all notice how Marvin worked in a little bicep flex right then?
Yeah, he did.
What you mean, man?
Well, guys, let's go ahead and move into one of our final segments. This is one of our favorites. It's time for the depth chart with everyone's favorite reporter from Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Stephen M. Smith, and he's here to give us the latest on the Crimson Tide.
Take your inhaler before you start. Go get your inhaler ready because he about to have an asthma. Good, come on.
Shut up, man. But honestly though, before I start though, I do want to pay respect and homage to the individuals that did, unfortunately lose their lives in the April 27th tornado that was 10 years ago. That moment is very special to me because my older sister was actually involved in that. We had moved her from campus apartment in Aspen Village, and then the very next week is when the storm happened. And I remember we couldn't connect with her for a couple of days, but we were finally able to reach her. She did survive the storm, so it really I think it kept us all in perspective of how fragile life is. But I do want to pay homage to those guys that did lose loved ones, possessions, things in that storm from 10 years ago.
Let me jump on that comment real quick too. And it's funny everybody's bringing that up. I actually grew up on 13th Street over there where that Big Lots is at. That's where my family was. So several members of my family lost everything that they actually owned in that storm, man. So we were down there cleaning up for weeks after that, man. Several of my family members stayed in shelters for weeks after that, man. So shout out to everybody who took care of my family members, my aunts, and all my cousins who were left homeless because of that tornado, man. So I appreciate y'all for that.
Our teammate Shannon Brown lost his daughter in that storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a real tragedy right there. So, just shout out to Shannon on that, man, and condolences to that over the years. But that was a rough. It's different losing your possessions and losing a family member or a child, losing life. So that was heartfelt.
All right, Steve, what else do you got for us for Alabama?
All right, well, cool. So now we can actually get into the depth chart segment. And Marvin, I don't need the inhaler. I don't need it. But we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get into this. I know the NFL draft. I know the NFL draft. I know the NFL draft is Thursday night, and though I want to talk about the draft, I'm actually gonna get into. So we saw the spring practice for Alabama. We saw the A-Day game and all the guys that made plays in the spring enrollees. But this segment is about the summer guys who can come in this summer and do some big time stuff for Alabama in the summer. So for the guys that I got that can do something, number one, I'm looking at the wide receiver JoJo Earl from Texas. I think this kid can come in and do some real special things at receiver and in the return game. He's kind of a Jalen Waddle on steroids, if you will. Then behind him, you got Kamar Wheaton, the running back out of Texas. Now, that's going to be tough because we got 7 guys on the roster. So I don't know how many going to leave. We could see one go. We could see 2 running backs leave. But Kamar Wheaton, you already got fans saying how good this kid is. And we have seen Coach Saban put a freshman over anybody else, multiple times. So that's Wheaton. Then you got the 6'4" cornerback, Kyrie Jackson, the JUCO. I want to see that size on the field at 6'4" at defensive back. What can that do? And then you got Dallas Turner an outside linebacker, the 5-star from Florida. You got a lot of guys in that outside linebacker room, but can he come in here and maybe pass up, a couple of guys or two to get himself on the field? And then 5, Damon Payne on that defensive line. No relation to Deron Payne, but what can Damon Payne do on his defensive line? So while I kind of wanted to discuss the NFL draft, I'm just looking at these summer kids, these summer enrollees, how many of these guys can actually get on the field and do something, because they didn't have a spring. So they got to come in here and pop quick.
Absolutely right, man. You are definitely right. We appreciate your info there. Well, guys,
hold on. I got a question for Mr. Short and KJ. One last question before we get out of here. What are y'all thoughts on Pete Golding?
I knew it. I knew it
was coming.
Alabama defensive coordinator, Pete Golding.
I knew it was coming.
I can't really speak on him. I don't know.
You didn't see Alabama defense this season, man?
Well, I did see the Alabama defense this season.
So what do you think about it?
I mean, I've seen better.
Quit being politically correct. You do not coach. You have nothing to lose. Come on, man.
I've seen better, but with the time, man, you got the younger guys.
Marvin get mad already, bro.
You got younger guys that he was working with, but he did put him in position to make some plays. I mean, so they won the ship.
And he also put him in some positions to not make plays more.
They won the ship though. So
because offense carried them. Look at that Florida game.
We know defense win championships. Defense win championships because you got to be able to stop a nosebleed. You know what I mean? So they did that, and we got to look. Give him 2 years. Give him this year. Give him this year to ready for you put that stamp on him. Give him 1 more year.
You mean before I rub the stamp off that I already put on?
Before you either peel that Band-Aid off or you stamp him real, okay, my bad, or you get on out of here, bro. You know what I mean?
Bruh, I'm gonna tell you, Marvin is like Joe off Medea. Don't do it. Don't do that. Don't do it.
I am not a fan. I'm sorry. I'm not a
fan. I mean, they did better than the year before, though. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
The year before that, it was like, what the hell?
You mean when we got beat 44-16? Oh, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. 2019 was horrible. I ain't gonna lie. That was horrible.
Well, but you also got to think about it. It's got to be really hard for Saban. I mean, everybody keeps stealing his coaches. Now, of course, every year he got a revolving door of coaches. He got to recruit. He got to go. Just like he recruit new players, he got to recruit players. I mean, coaches just the same.
But he lose them. But this was his second year on the job, though. Year 2, you should be comfortable. You should be good. You got all these 5-stars. Yeah, I can go out there and call defense with all them players.
Marvin, hold on, Marvin. It was his 3rd year on the job. What you talking? It was his third.
My bad. His 3rd year.
They did win the ship, though, and they did win the ship.
True.
Thanks to him.
You got to stop. Be able to stop a nosebleed to win that championship. Now, I don't care how good y'all been.
It seemed like it was bleeding every week. Hell.
And he was able to put some young guys in position to make some good plays, though. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's okay. They can only get better.
I'm gonna piggyback off my man right here, saying
take a pro.
I'm gonna piggyback off my man right here who said, give him another year before you rip the Band-Aid off. I'm gonna piggyback off my man right here.
Well, what all you should do, Marvin, call Saban, tell him to bring Deshea in, and your problems is over with.
If it were only that simple, I got a lot of numbers.
I don't think while he looking, just bring Deshea in, pay him top dollar. It's over with.
He just gave Pete a $250,000 raise, man.
Tell him call Deshea, man. Shay, the defensive coordinator for them boys.
He didn't call anybody.
There's your solution. All right, before we head out, I like to do this every week. I want to check in with Marvin on how well his book is doing. If you're not following him on Instagram, we're seeing live testimonials of how it's changing lives. Matter of fact, I honestly believe it's saving lives. So, Marvin, if you would, talk to the audience about your book, how it's doing, and then also how everyone can get their hands on it.
40plusstrong.com, 40plusstrong.com. And the book is doing what the book does. Matter of fact, I'm having to revisit the book myself because I put on all these pounds for this wedding because I didn't work out for 2 weeks because somebody was running me around like I ain't had nothing else to do. So I went from about 212 to 231 in 2 weeks because somebody got me
so great.
They got me eating cake. They got me drinking Remy, man. So now I got to rebuild my own body. So I'm back on day 1 or day 2 starting tomorrow. Hey, look, man. So I had my suit. I had my suit for the wedding made. Custom made. I got the suit made when I was 212, 213ish. Man, I put that suit on at 230. I was in that boy like this. Then she talking about take my guard off. I'm like, baby, I don't know if this suit gonna let me get down here to take it.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Before we get one final word from our guests, I want to remind everyone, tune in next week. We're all about bringing legends on, and we got a legendary running back. Mr. Derek Lassick will be with us next Tuesday. So you definitely want to tune in and see Mr. 25. And he might even do his end zone dance for us too. So check that out. Well, fellas, I want to thank y'all for coming on. Andre, KJ, thank y'all so much. It's a blessing to always hear from you guys. I grew up watching you guys, man. So y'all got me on the Alabama wagon. So if you would, before you head on out, tell us what's up for you next and how we can contact you on social media and all that good stuff. Andre, I'll start with you.
Dre, before you get started, shout out your gym. Let them know where they at, baby. Come on.
Oh, yes, that's it right there. That's it. We at Go Hard Fitness. I'm located Midtown Atlanta, 2080 DeFore Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia 30318, Suite 240. You can contact me on my website, GoHardFitnessATL.com, or you can also follow me on Instagram, Mr. Go Hard Fitness. And inbox me for the information. I get you here. We're doing group fitness. We're doing personal training. We also doing nutritional supplements with Herbalife. We're here to stay. We're not going nowhere. Trying to change a person like one day at a time, one person at a time. Go hard to go home, baby.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
All right, KJ, go ahead.
Just really thankful, man, for you guys inviting me on this show, man. Just to interact with you guys, to be a part of this, man. I enjoy every bit of it, and man, I'm just blessed to be able to be in this position I am in. I'm working with Jimmy Range with Great Southern Wood, so we got a lot of things going on. If you need wood, I know you guys wood is all off the chart now, so. Holler at me if you need anything or whatever, because I get you something. But man, just a blessing for each and every one of you guys, man, for having me on, and a blessing for everything you guys do and bring the legends back to on the radio and on broadcast, on podcasts, and all that. And I just thank you for all that, man. Marvin, you guys doing, and Justin, you guys doing a great job on what you do, and man, this is my second time on it, and I love every bit of it, and I appreciate the invite, and I appreciate the love, man. Thanks.
Thank you. We're glad you come.
Yeah.
And if you ever get tired of working for Jimmy, I'm pretty sure I can get you a job doing voiceover work. I think you miss your calling, man. Man, I'm being so serious.
I promise you,
so much money
for
doing
real.
voiceover work. Real. I got some people I can hook you up with, for real.
No, for Marvin, real talk. Bump Morgan Freeman. Get KJ in there.
That's what I'm here. Like if you really want to, I got some people who I can introduce that I can hook you up with, because you should really do voiceover work. Not even being fun. I'm being so you will make so much money doing voiceover.
Marvin, hook me up, brother.
All right.
Yeah, hook him up.
I'm gonna shoot you some information. I'm gonna hook you up with Laura Huntington. They actually she's an agent here in Atlanta. They have an office in LA as well. She represents me as well. So I'm gonna hook you up with Laura. Because they do a lot. They got a lot of. She tried to get me to do voiceover work, and I'm like, I ain't got that type of voice. You, yeah.
Hey man, anything possible, man. I appreciate the love.
No problem, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again, audience. If you would remember, if you have any questions, feel free to email us, thebamastandard@gmail.com. We're on Twitter and Instagram at the Bama Standard. Check us out. Thanks again, guys. Y'all have a great night and roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide.
No, I ain't forgot about you.